We woke up to our very first morning in Amalfi Coast, and today's plan was to drive on one of the most beautiful coastal roads in the world and visit Positano and Sorrento. While planning the trip, we were very uncertain whether to hire a car or not. Social media made it sound very terrifying. I'm glad we finally decided on hiring the car. Yes, the roads were narrow and there was a bit of traffic around Positano, but having our own car gave us so much flexibility, especially traveling with two kids. The alternatives were packed public buses or expensive private taxis. For us, renting a car was definitely the right decision. On arriving at Positano, we parked the car at the closest car parks to the beach. From there, it was about a 20-minute downhill walk, passing colorful buildings, boutique shops, and postcard worthy viewpoints. The water was too cold for a swim, but that didn't stop the girls from collecting shells along the beach while we soaked in the atmosphere. After exploring the streets and doing a little shopping, we stopped for lunch at Chez Black. How was the pasta, Tanu?
Amazing! If you haven't tried this place's pasta, you don't know the real pasta taste. Come here and see if your mom's pasta is better than this place.
After lunch, we continued on to Sorrento. Driving on the windy roads of Amalfi Coast itself is an attraction. On reaching Sorrento, we only had enough time to visit Marina Grande. So we just drove around Sorrento and then started heading towards Amalfi. The drive from Sorrento to Amalfi somehow felt even more magical. The coastline looked completely different in the golden light, and we found ourselves stopping over and over again just to admire the views. Before heading back to our apartment and tackling those famous 75 stairs again, we drove a little further to explore Minori and Maiori. These little towns had such a relaxed local feel. We wandered through the streets, enjoyed pizza for dinner, and finished the evening with a peaceful stroll before returning to Scala. The next morning was the one we all had been looking forward to, the Capri day. But first, 1000 stairs. Instead of driving down to Amalfi or booking a taxi, we decided to take the adventurous route and walk all the way from Scala to Amalfi. It was drizzling slightly, so everyone pulled on their rain jackets and began counting the steps. The girls absolutely loved taking turns keeping track of the number of stairs, and after one short break, we reached Amalfi in around 45 minutes. Before heading to our ferry, we couldn't resist picking up pastries from a bakery near Amalfi Cathedral. An Italian breakfast with a sea view? Not a bad start to the day. We had pre-booked our ferry to Capri before we arrived in Italy. We boarded the Capri ferry from Amalfi, enjoyed the views with the pastries. The ferry we had booked was Amalfi Coast. This was a direct ferry to Capri without any stops. As soon as we arrived at Capri, we booked a small boat tour around the island. It costed 25 euros per person. To be honest, we are still deciding whether it was worth it. The Blue Grotto was closed because of the weather, so we missed the main highlight of the tour. The ferry took us around the island, and we saw that the Blue Grotto entrance was fully covered with water. After getting off the ferry, we grabbed a taxi to Anacapri. Our taxi driver turned out to be an unofficial tour guide, pointing out landmarks along the way and even giving us discount coupons for the chairlift. Next up was the chairlift, and this was probably one of our favorite experiences in Capri. I was nervous about girls riding on their own on the chairlift, but the staff slow every chair down, make sure everyone is safely seated, and only then send you on your way. It's very gentle and surprisingly relaxing. At the top, we were rewarded with breathtaking panoramic views across the island. We even found more friendly cats waiting to say hello. We spent some time exploring before taking the chairlift back down and wandering through the charming street of Anacapri. We had lunch in Anacapri and then caught a taxi to the funicular station. We headed back towards Capri town on the funicular. Capri town became our designated shopping stop. Jewelry, fridge magnets, souvenirs, and some very expensive wind chimes somehow found their way into our bags. Eventually, we found a little bar near the ferry terminal and ordered drinks served inside enormous lemons. Our ferry back to Amalfi left at 6 pm. This ferry stopped around Positano for a few minutes before heading towards Amalfi. We were all tired, happy, and already thinking about dinner. But as we arrived in Amalfi, something felt different. The streets were darker than usual, looked like restaurants were closing early, and locals were gathering quietly. Only then we realized it was Good Friday. We found ourselves witnessing a beautiful religious procession that we had never planned. Sometimes the best travel experiences are the ones you never planned. The next morning, it was time to pack up our bags again. Today's plan was to drive back to Naples, return our hired car, and then board a train towards Venice. We reached Naples and returned our hired car. We still had enough time to pick up some more pastries to go. We had our business class seats reserved for our travel to Venice. We boarded, packed our suitcases on the train, and got ready to spend the next 5 hours on this train. And of course, we started our journey with the yummiest pastries ever.
Yes.
5 hours is a very long time for the girls to be stuck on the train. So I had enough activities and movies downloaded on their iPads for this travel. Before we knew, we were deboarding the train at Venice. If you're enjoying following our journey, please like the video and consider subscribing to our channel. In my next episode, I will tell you all about how we spent 4 days in Venice.